It was 2008 Montreal. At a high school locker, the shy beginnings of a romance.
I think she was just special. I never seen anybody like that. Like, she had that traction that pulled me toward her.
She was Zainab Shafia, 18, newly arrived from Dubai. He was Amar Waheed from Pakistan originally. Enrolled in the same adult education program, there was a spark. And with Valentine's Day approaching, Amar screwed up his courage and gave her a card.
I wrote on the note, I'd like to be your friend, I'd like to know you. And if you think this is appropriate, and if you accept my friendship, just wear white dress tomorrow. So the next day, when it was Valentine's Day, I saw her from far, and I saw her dressed in white.
But there were things Amar needed to understand. In an email 2 days later, Zainab laid out what she said would have to be the rules of their friendship. Rule number 1, beware my brother. Amar wasn't surprised.
Her family is probably not that open-minded, so I told myself, like, whatever, I have to be extra careful, because if her brother finds out, she's the one who's going to get in trouble at home.
Home was this apartment in northeast Montreal. The Shafias, Mohammed, his wife Tuba, and their 7 children had emigrated to Canada the year before. From Afghanistan originally, they'd spent 11 years in Dubai, where Mohammed built a successful used car business. He was rich enough to qualify for Quebec's Immigrant Investor Program, and he did invest. $2 million for this strip mall in Laval, $200,000 for a piece of land on which he started to build a family homestead. But Mohammed Shafia was also a secretive man. 5 months after the family arrived, he sponsored another immigrant. Rona Amir, he told authorities, was a cousin who was coming to work as a nanny and a housekeeper. Lawyer Sabine Venturelli helped the family with the immigration documents, but from the beginning, something didn't seem right.
When I asked her the question about her marriage, she started to answer me, and Mr. Shafia stopped her, saying, "There's no need to talk about that."
No wonder. The truth would have disqualified the family as new Canadians. Rona was not Shafia's cousin, but his first wife, a woman who'd led a desperately unhappy life that she chronicled in a journal.
After getting married, my lot in life began a downward spiral, right up to today that I am writing these memoirs.
The pages are personal and tinged with bitter disappointments, most of them starting when Rona learned she couldn't have children.
My husband started picking on me. At home, he would find fault with my cooking and serving meals, and he would find excuses to harass me. It reached a point where I had to say, "Go and take another wife. What can I do?"
Polygamy is permitted in Afghanistan, and in 1988, Shafia did take another bride, Tuba. That's Rona standing loyally on his other side. According to her diary, there was tension from the beginning, and it got worse as one after another the babies arrived.
Every day he used to sit together with his second wife and the rail against me. Then he began hitting me. The children came in and said to him, "Dad, stop hitting her." In short, he had made life a torture for me.
After 20 years, the move to Montreal might have been the start of something better for Rona. The Shafia family now lived in one of the most cosmopolitan and liberal cities in the world. But inside the apartment, it was the worst of Afghan tradition. Latif Fideri is Tuba's uncle. Like most immigrants, his family adapted to Canadian ways, but he could see that the women in the Shafia house were never going to get the opportunity.
If the truth be told, they lived like prisoners in that house. They had no freedom. For example, my daughter was getting married and I invited them. They made dresses for them. And when their father came and saw the dresses, He cut them and did not allow them to take part in the wedding.
For Zainab and Ammar, dating became a game of cat and mouse. Moments snatched at the library, away from the prying eyes of her younger brother, Hamid, who attended the same school.
He cannot see us together because the time when he's gonna get to see us together, right there, she's like, he's gonna go home and he's gonna tell my dad, and then things not gonna look good.
Did she tell you what would happen?
She told me she would get hit or she would get beaten up. She even said certain times that her father would kill her. He's that type of man. I mean, I'm like, you that's just in your head. You can't think like that. I'm like, he will never kill you. She's like, you don't know. She kept on repeating, you don't know my father.
It wasn't just Zainab who was afraid. Her sister Sahar was 16 and chafing at her father's insistence that she wear the hijab.
At some point, Sahar missed school for a long period with absolutely no reason. And that's when we started being worried. The day she came back to school, she was veiled.
Vice Principal Nathalie Laramé says it was clear the headscarf was only the beginning of Sahar's problems.
The young girl was greatly preoccupied. She feared for her well-being. She had a lot of trouble accepting the veil. I think she really wanted to live in a Western lifestyle.
And so, in the hours she was away from home, she did, chucking her headscarf and piling on the makeup at school, resuming her role as pious daughter at home. Eventually, though, her parents caught on and the leash got even shorter.
Tuba would drive the children to their school. At 12 o'clock, when they had an hour break, Tuba would bring them back home. She would take them and then she would pick them up again at the end of school. They did not have the permission to contact anyone or go over to anyone's house.
But then in the spring of 2008, the girls got a break. Their parents returned to Dubai on a business trip, leaving Hamid, their brother, in charge. When Zainab made the mistake of sneaking her boyfriend into the house, Hamid went crazy, threatening to tell their parents and then taking action of his own. Zainab, her younger brother, decreed would not be allowed to return to school. So he had that power over her that he could stop her from going to school?
Well, when in that conversation, I asked her, how come? Because you're the oldest.
Yeah.
And how come he's making decisions for you, even if you were the youngest, he has no right. She's like, yeah, but when my father and mother left, they gave him all the authority. So she's like, I had to agree to that.
Hamid's other decree, Zainab could not see Ammar again. Did you love her?
Yes, I did.
And she loved you?
Yeah.
For almost a year, Ammar lost contact. Zainab never did return to school. But younger sister Sahar was still going to class and starting to talk to her teachers.
She said she was a victim of violence. She was afraid of being abused again. She felt she was watched at school by other family members who then reported what they saw at home.
The more Sahar told them, the more worried the teachers became. They wondered whether she might be suicidal. According to Rona, there was a suicide attempt. Sahar mixed some poison one day and drank it.
When I came in and saw what had happened, I was very upset and said, "Why do you want death? Why did you take medicine to commit suicide?" Her mother said, "She can go to hell. Let her kill herself."
If her mother wasn't concerned, the school certainly was, and called Quebec's Child Welfare Service. A social worker was sent to talk to Sahar and then with her parents. It didn't go well. With her father raging, Sahar retracted her complaint. There was no follow-up, and the file was closed. Nearly a year after she was banned from seeing her boyfriend, Amar Wahid, eldest daughter Zainab was secretly back in touch with him and one day snuck out to meet him.
And so we went to McDonald's. We stayed together for about like 4 or 5 hours, and it was amazing because I saw her after 1 year.
She told Amar that for months after he was caught at her house, her father confined her to her room, refused to let her go to school. Now she wanted out.
So she's like, I don't feel like living a life like this where I have to say everything, I have to ask for permission, I have no freedom. And then she's like, even if we do want to get married, my parents not going to agree to it. So she's like, I want to leave.
Amar wasn't so sure. He had no job and no apartment. He asked Zainab to wait just a few weeks. She was going, she said, with his help or without.
So she's like, you're coming to get me right now, or else I'm going to leave on my own. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to come pick you up.
It was a brazen departure, and in the Shafia house, it set off another crisis.
Phone 911.
Yeah, I want to, there's a person missing in the family. I want to report that.
In your family?
Yeah.
Is that your
sister?
Your sister, how old is she?
She's 19.
It was brother Hamid who called the police and demanded they find Zainab and bring her home. Unbeknownst to him, one of the other children also called, looking for protection, terrified of how their father would react. And so, for the second time in a year, the authorities were dealing with the Shafia family. When police arrived at the house, the children were open, telling them of repression and abuse. But then their father came home, and the stories began to change. In a report, the social worker said the children appeared to live under a reign of terror. But once again, intervention was not recommended. There was one adult inside the house who knew the truth and who might have been able to help if she hadn't been so powerless herself. First wife Rona's diary documents the fear and the threats. Tuba was clearly the preferred wife, and Rona knew it.
She had my passport. Tuba used to say, "Your life is in my hands." I said, "You can't kick me out. You are one wife of his, I am another." She said, "You are not his wife. You are my servant."
That much seemed to be true. Rona wasn't even allowed to use the house phone. With $50 she got each month as allowance, she bought phone cards and poured out her heart to distant relatives in distant lands.
She called again and again and again, and then every time she called, she would talk more about the abuse and about the mental, verbal, and physical abuse.
Fahima Vorgetz, a niece living in the United States, counseled Rona to leave, but she was too afraid.
Because he told her if she leaves, he would kill her. He threatened her if she leaves or if she goes to the police, they will kick her out of Canada. They will send her back to Afghanistan. And again, she was afraid if she goes back to Afghanistan, then the Shafi's family would kill her there. So she was in a lose-lose situation.
Rona was right. They were trying to get rid of her. Lawyer Sabine Venturelli remembers a phone call from one of Mohammed Shafia's relatives.